Yeah, sometimes I sit around and wonder, what should I listen to? Should I listen to Cheap Trick? Or Marshall Crenshaw? Or Chuck Berry? Ringo? Elvis? Maybe a little Tommy James and the Shondells? Buddy Guy? The Monkees? John Lennon? Beatles? Maybe. The Cars? I don't know. I do it all the... Oh, hi. Oh man, I'm sorry folks. I'm just in a goofy mood. Goofing off here in my music room and just... got more stuff to show you. I'm sorry. I hope you don't mind these videos. I hope you're not getting sick of me. But yeah, I got another little pile here, and I thought I'd show some colored vinyl to start off with. I have a good one here. A couple of years ago, 2017, John Fogerty reissued his Blue Moon Swamp album, which came out in 1997. It was a Grammy Award winning album in 1998. So I was just reading here the years here. But Blue Moon Swamp, it's been reimagined, whole new cover. If you remember the original cover of the album, it had a picture of John. He was kind of waiting. He had water up to his waist. He was holding his guitar. It never was really the greatest cover. But they redid the cover, beautiful cover. The back is still the same. Great John Fogerty album, folks. And what they did special with this one was, I'll show you the sleeve first. Picture John there. I love this album, folks. I put it on recently and hadn't listened to it in a while. And nice blue vinyl for Blue Moon Swamp. Nice custom label. Same on the back. Just a great album, folks. If you've never heard John Fogerty's Blue Moon Swamp, I highly suggest you check it out. You'll love it. And remember a couple of videos ago where I talked about the Red album? Well, now we have, and I mentioned the Yellow album. Yes, I got so sparked after talking about the B-52s in one of my recent videos, Wild Planet, their second album from 1980, I believe it was. Yeah, because this one came out in 79. Here's their first self-titled album, the B-52s, the Yellow album, I like to call it. And again, folks, I know I mentioned it in the last video, just a band that I find to be so enjoyable, so much fun. It puts me in a happy, fun mood every time I hear them. And this one is no exception, their first one. And don't forget, I believe their first two albums, John Lennon himself was a fan of. From what I understand, Wild Planet came out during 1980, this one came out in 79, and at some point John was turned on to the B-52s, being that he had been told that their music was very influenced, or somewhat influenced, by Yoko Ono's earlier music, which I guess tickled John's fancy. He got so excited about that there was actually, he felt like, finally, people have caught up to us, Yoko. and like what we were doing or trying to do back in the day, now it's becoming mainstream, or at least John thought so anyway. I have to be honest, John would talk about some Yoko songs that he felt, might have influenced this, and maybe on some level it did, but I'm sorry, this is melodic, it's fun, it has a groove to it and a melody. You listen to some of Yoko's stuff, like on Plastic Ono Band, Yoko Ono Plastic Ono Band, you think of what she could have put into it to make it more like this, and she didn't. I'm sorry, but it may have been influenced. It may have influenced this a little bit, but this is head and shoulders above anything Yoko was doing. I'm sorry, and I'm a fan of John and Yoko to some degree, but I'm not going to sit here and say that Yoko was the forerunner to this stuff. I mean, very primitive. It has none of the melody and none of the charm of this. Let me tell you. But this is great stuff, and John loved it, I guess. You know, Rock Lobster, of course, the big hit. I mean, this is just classic. Planet Claire, 52 Girls, Dance This Mess Around, Lava, There's a Moon in the Sky that's called the Moon, Hero Worship, 6060-842, and a cover of Downtown. It's just classic, folks. If you haven't gotten into the B-52s, get into them. Get into the first couple of albums at least. This is kind of a lost one from the 80s, power pop that I really enjoy. The Hooters, Nervous Night. I was always a fan of this from when it first came out. I believe it was 1985. And, you know, some great hits on here. All You Zombies, Day by Day, And We Danced. It's just a great, great little album, little rock and roll album, folks. Haven't listened to it in a while, and I took it out and said, you know what, that's a great little album. Good little band. And I'd be remiss, remember last time I mentioned Wilkerson? Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't make the effort to bring it out and show you. I listen to this all the time. This is a wonderful album, folks. Get it on CD, get it on vinyl if you can. Wilkerson. Need I say more? You need this album. If you don't have it, it's one of the greatest releases in the last couple of years. All right? Get it. You're crazy if you don't. Well, you might be crazy anyway, like me, but get it. It's kind of a lost nugget from the 80s. Moving Pictures. Self-titled album on Network Records. And I never would have known of this band, folks, Moving Pictures, but they had a top 40 hit on here. I'm sorry, the album's called Days of Innocence. My bad, Days of Innocence. And the big song on here, folks, is What About Me? Who remembers that song, What About Me? Great, great top 40 hit. Speaking of yacht rock, and there's the yacht, and there's all the ladies having a good old time on the yacht. No, this is kind of yacht rock, folks, but it's great, great yacht rock, if you want to call it that. Chilliwack. Who remembers Chilliwack? Love this band. They are a great little band. This is the only Chilliwack album I have. I think I might have a best of on CD, but vinyl, this is it. But who remembers the song My Girl, Gone, 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 She Been Gone, 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 I Been Gone, 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 She Been Gone. I'm not going to try to sing it for you, but that's a big hit on here, My Girl, and just a great, great little pop album, yacht rock album, whatever you want to call it, but check it out. These guys are always in my rotation. One of their albums are CDs, and this happens to be one that was in the pile that I've listened to recently, In the City, The Jam. Love The Jam. Oh. You know, and I really had the opportunity. I didn't see them, but I had a chance. I could have when I was over in England for those 2 years in the service. I missed it. I don't know if it was a work schedule or what, and I couldn't get a day's leave to go see them, but I could have seen them, and I didn't. I just missed it. But anyway, folks, still love them, and being in England for those 2 years really, really turned me on to a lot of the British rock that was so much more popular over there than it was here in the States, and this was one of those bands, The Jam. Really, really, we used to get into these guys big time because they were all over the radio and so popular. Long Lost Power Pop, Ram Tchaikovsky. I think I have 2 of his albums. This is his most famous one called Strange Man, Changed Man. And the big hit on here, the song that really turned me on to him was Girl of My Dreams, which is still my favorite song of his, or theirs, whatever you want to call it. And great, great, great album. Has anyone else besides me heard of the Tough Darts? The Tough Darts. Self-titled album. This is a promotional copy, not for sale. Shh, don't tell anyone I bought it. Great, great kind of punky, power pop, hardcore, good stuff. The Tough Darts. Going from one extreme to the other. We're going from the sublime to the ridiculous here, folks. But we go from the Tough Darts to Suzie Quatro. Yeah, every once in a while I take this album out and I really enjoy it. I don't have a lot of Suzie stuff. I know I should get into it more with the whole Joan Jett connection and all that, and you know how popular she was with Joan Jett and influencing Joan Jett. But I do have this one, If You Knew Suzie, and this is a great, great album. And the big hit on here is Stumbling In. You may remember that big song, Stumbling In. Great stuff. And I know I need to get more of her material. Long lost power pop from the 70s coming into the 80s, The Records. I have 2 albums by The Records. I have another one that has Starry Eyes on it, which is a great song. This is a great album also. This is from 1980, I believe. And the big song on here is called Hearts, where is it? Hearts in Her Eyes. Big, big song on here. Hearts in Her Eyes. Or I'll say it more New England for you. Hearts in Her Eyes. Hearts in Her Eyes. How's that? Okay. I love this band, California pop, power pop. These guys started out so young, and so they've been around so long, like over 40 years, but they're still only in their 50s. Red Cross. This is a great, great album. It came out a couple of years ago. Red Cross, Researching the Blues. Can't recommend this one enough, folks. Wow. And during this tour, like I said, it came out a couple of years ago. Oh God, more than a couple of years ago, 2012. Wow, it's been 8 years. But about a year after its release, I had the opportunity to see them in New York City with one of my sons. We saw them live in a place, and wow, one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. They rocked. They were fabulous. So how many of you know of Red Cross? Great band. Okay, a lot of people would show the first album, and we could talk about the whole mystery of whether they were the Beatles or not. They came out on Capitol Records in the late 70s. But I'm going to show you the second album, because that's the one I've been listening to, and it's a great little album. Quatro, Hope. The album is called Hope. And it is a wonderful album, folks. So if you've ever heard of the first Quatro album, the one with the picture of the sun on the front, the one that caused all the controversy, was it the Beatles secretly recording? And you know, when you listen to it, folks, if you're any kind of a Beatles fan, you know right away it's not the Beatles, okay? You know it's Beatles influenced, it's very Beatlesque, it's very power pop and all that good stuff, but it's not the Beatles, obviously. But, you know, the media, you know how the media can be, they try to hype stuff and oversell things, and so they built it up as the mystery to, you know, it was the Beatles. It obviously wasn't, but it was Quatro, and Quatro is a great, great little Canadian band that should have gotten their due more. I think they were more popular in Canada than they were here in the States, but I love them. I have almost all of their albums. This was their second one after all that controversy happened, called Hope. And you know what, folks? In many ways, this is better than the first Quatro album. So if you get a chance, sample a little Quatro, check out the first album. Check out Hope, the second album. I highly recommend this one, and see what you think. But I think they're a great little underrated band, Canadian band. Yay, Canada! And last but not least today, folks, oh no, not last, I got 2 more things to show you. But this one is an album by a band called Contiki. Wait a minute, I'm off. I need some more AC/DC rocker bust beer. Here, AC/DC rocker bust. No, I'm not a big drinker, folks. All right, don't want to mislead you here. The band is called Cotton Mather, and their album is called Contiki, and this is one of the greatest albums, power pop, rock and roll of all time. There, I said it. Check this album out, folks. I'm not wrong on this. I'm telling you, if you love the Beatles, if you like rock and roll, good power pop, Beatlesque music, okay, you need Contiki by Cotton Mather. You need this, folks. It's on CD in a new deluxe format. It's on vinyl. Folks, it's a 1990s band that should have gotten their due. They should have been one of the biggest bands in the land. That's how great their music is. But this is my favorite by them. I listen to this all the time. I'd love to know how many of you have had this album or listened to this album or love this album, because I do. I think it's fabulous. Love it. Contiki by Cotton Mather. Folks, go sample it. Go listen to it, and then please come back and tell me what you think. But picture like Beatle era, Revolver, type music. So if you like Revolver, picture this as like Revolver Jr. Okay, it's that good. Check it out. And last but not least, folks, I just show you another kind of cool piece of colored vinyl from one of my original favorite bands I've loved since I was a teenager. Well, at least since the early 80s when I was in my early 20s. The Reuben's most recent album is called From Home. I listen to this all the time. I love this album, folks. Check it out, the Reuben's From Home. And what's nice about it is my finale today, it's on a beautiful black and yellow splattered vinyl. The Reuben's From Home. Look at that. Oh, that, I mean, if you're into colored vinyl, yeah, I mean, this is it. This is where it's at. And real quick, the inner sleeve. I love that with the sneaker on it. The Reuben's From Home. Check it out. And last but not least, because one of my friends, Stephen Schnee, said to me, "Hey Matt, where did you get that Matthew Street t-shirt?" Well, I have to give credit where credit is due. I know he's controversial. Some people love him, some people don't love him. Some people, they love him sometimes, and sometimes they don't love him. It goes back and forth. He's a character, but he's a very talented person. Invisible Ray did some videos recently about making items, designing items of different members of the vinyl community where you could get t-shirts and swag. And he made this design for me, Invisible Ray, as mine. I mean, he did many other people in the vinyl community, but that was my design he made for me and sent it to me. Nice of him to send it to me. And I was able to go to a company called Allied T-Shirts and have the t-shirt made. I had a few made, actually, so I give to my loved ones and friends. Anyway, that's it. That's where I got it, Steve. Invisible Ray designed it, talented lad, and I had a shirt made with it. And thank you to Invisible Ray for doing that for me. I appreciate it. Thank you, folks. Take care. Bless you. Bye-bye.